What is going on, everybody? It is Big L here, and today we are bringing you our draft recap from the Lonely Draft League, the LDL. We are in the Z Move division, which is the Wi-Fi VGC division. Again, we are doing VGC again. I don't know if there's like a quote unquote talent split in the league or not, but there are two Wi-Fi VGC leagues, and we're playing with. Sorry, I'm gonna turn this down in my ears a little bit. We're playing with a few people from the YCL, and we were hoping to play with Bucks. You know Bucks, friend of ours, friend of the channel. He's been on here a number of times in the NFL, but he was put in the other draft league. So I know we were hoping to play together. But it is what it is. It could just be, he applied after me. It could be that could just be it. It could be 100% random. I don't know. But like I said, we got put with a few people from the YCL, and a certain someone who has like a somewhat bigger YouTube channel than most of us. I'm not gonna say who it is. That'll be a surprise. Even though we don't play till week 9, I was kind of hoping to play him earlier, but it is what it is. So LDL, the Lonely Draft League. Look at that cute Cubone, looking all sad because he's lonely. Z Move Division. Like I said, this league format is VGC Series 10, just like YCL. This was a points draft. This was my first ever points draft. I had never done a points draft before. It was always tiered. So. We kind of had to think about it a little bit differently. We got 80 points, and that gave us 10 to 11 mons. We could have either 10 or 11 mons. Spoiler alert: we took 10. There's 10 teams. Top 6 make playoffs, and the schedule is you play every team once, which is pretty cool. You get to play everybody, which is nice. One of the good things about a smaller league like this, like 10 teams as opposed to like 16 or even 12, is it's easier to play every coach, which is cool because now we get to play everybody in the league. And yeah, so before we got into the draft, we were kind of looking at what we wanted. We had the 9th pick, which is good and bad. It's bad because you typically think the super busted stuff isn't going to fall to you, and but it's kind of good because 9th out of 10 means we get really, really close to a wheel. So it means we get to pick 2 mons that work really well. The other 2 mons that we want to be together back to back, which is really, really nice. And yeah, and then points we can kind of budget our points out a bit and really say, okay, I'm going to take this mon and this mon. That gives me with a few points, but this many points left for my next 2 picks. Or my next, 6 picks or 8 picks or whatever. So like I said, we had the 9th pick. The downside to that is, there's a long wait between picks. And like I said, all the really broken stuff is typically gone. But we feel like we got something pretty busted for our restricted. Anyway. But even though restricteds weren't in their own tiers. They weren't in their own tiers. Like there were restricteds like all the way down. Like you could have picked a 1-point restricted in like Cosmog, something like that. But I forgot to add points to this. I literally just thought about it while I was recording, and while I started recording, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna go back and change it now. Just trust me, we have 80 points spent. So first up, we got Eternitis. Eternitis fell to 9, which I thought was kind of crazy. Eternitis is really good. You can see with his base stats, really, really high base HP, meh attack, SPDEF and defense, base 95, pretty good. Base special attack is through the roof at base 145, and the base speed at 130. This is going to be fast, the fastest mon in a lot of games that it plays. Dragon and Poison, which is really, really nice. Even though I just said in my YCL recap video, I like low tier dragons. Here we are taking a high tier restricted dragon. So, but I like that I have a dragon type that isn't weak to fairy. I can punish fairies whenever if they want to try to come in on this, which is fantastic. Sludge Wave, Sludge Bomb, can run Cosmic Power with that speed and those base defenses and that base HP spat. Getting 1 Cosmic Power means you live a lot of hits. Also, base special attack of 145. You know, I can run Power or Meteor Beam to get a special attack boost. Gets access to Flamethrower and Mystical Fire, which is interesting. And yeah, so really, really cool Pokemon. Only has, I believe, what, 3 weaknesses in Dragon, Dragon, Ground, and Psychic. And so we wanted to address those weaknesses immediately because, you know, Eternitis is going to be our focal point. You know, we built around Cali Shadow last time. We want to build around Eternitis this time. So the next pick, you know, like I said, we got the wheel, well, close to a wheel. You know, 9th, and then twice, then us again. Same person twice. And I was looking around, and originally this pick was going to be Clefairy. Just because I thought, you know, Eternitis next to Clefairy with Friend Guard, you know, with that base HP and those defenses meant Eternitis just never died. But then I was looking at the other Pokemon around there, and I found a Pokemon that was, I believe it's 1 point less than Clefairy. And Cover does a fantastic job of covering for Eternitis' weaknesses. And that's Cresselia. Cresselia is an OG in the format. Bulky Psychic type with Levitate. So, it mitigates Eternitis' ground weakness with Levitate. And it's a Psychic type, so it resists Psychic hits. So, 2 weaknesses of Eternitis' addressed. Base 120 HP, base 70 attack, you're not using it as a physical attacker. Base 120 defense, base 75 special attack, base 130 speed def, and 85 speed. The Moonduck is fat, the Moonduck is bulky, the Moonduck gets Moonlight. It just sits there and just never dies. It gets Helping Hand, it gets Ally Switch, it gets Skill Swap. So if I really wanted to, I could try to skill swap Levitate onto Eternitis and take away one of its weaknesses, which would be pretty cool tech. I'm really excited to try out Cress. Cress is, like I said, it's one of the original, you know, staples of VGC, you know, back in like Black and White, back in the Gen 5 meta, it was everywhere. And even in Gen 6, it was used a lot. But I felt like it complemented Eternitis really, really well, and I was really excited I could get this core. I kind of went away from trying to establish my Fairy Dragon Steel core super early, which we never did finish off because, spoiler alert, I don't have a Fairy on this team. I don't feel like it needed it. I feel like I kind of feel like Crest kind of fills that role, like a support mon can spam Moonblast. But like I said, I didn't really feel like the team needed a Fairy. Because me and T4U were talking about it near the end of the draft, whenever we had like 3 or 4 picks left. I kind of thought about taking a Fairy, but then I just posed the question: do you really think the team needs one? And we decided no. We decided we didn't. So, thinking about it, you know, obviously after, you know, pick 2 of the second round, we had a long way to wait between picks, and I decided, I was like, you know, I want to get a Dragon Resist, because like I said, I have the other 2 weaknesses of Eternitis addressed, and so I wanted to get a Dragon Resist, and I think got one of the best ones, and that is Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn is really, really cool. Base 74 HP, 94 attack, which isn't bad, 131 defense. You don't care about the special attack and speed stats, and the speed def of 116. I guess the speed stat could be good if we run into a Trick Room team, which I think there are 2. I think there are 2 Trick Room teams, if I'm not mistaken. But this thing is pretty cool. It gets access to knockoff. Leech Seed is good in VGC. You can wear down things that want to try to just sit and live. Like I said, knockoff is really good. It's a very underutilized ability move in VGC, in my opinion. I think it's great for, if nothing else, it's great for information for a set. Iron Barbs, great ability. Pair that with a Rocky Helmet, you can really, really chip down some of those physical attackers on your opponent's team. And Gyro Ball, if you do want to try to get a little damage on something, you can run Gyro Ball. It also gets Power Whip, which is really nice. It also gets access to Iron Defense and Body Press, which is really, really good. Sorry, I'm really thirsty. So yeah, Ferrothorn, another Pokemon. I think it gets more shine in singles than it does in doubles, because in doubles you can kind of like target it down if you really, really want to, and it doesn't get any reliable recovery outside of Leech Seed or Giga Drain, I guess. But with that special attack stat, you're not really getting anything out of it. So you're gonna run probably Power Whip if you really want Grass Stab with it. But yeah, so we were thinking about this, and we were like, okay, I want to try to get some offense together, because that's Eternitis and then 2 Fat Mons. But T4U came up with the idea. Was like, you know, what if we build a little bit of a Rain Core here? You know, you got Ferrothorn, which is the 4 times weak to fire Pokemon. You know, what if you build a little bit of rain? You know, try to, and that can help with because there was a team that had Groudon and Entei at this point, and it was, but you know, we can try to mitigate that weakness. And so we were looking at the points, and we were like, you know what, Politoed is worth like 10 points, but then there was Pelipper at 7 points. You know, so we took Pelipper. So we committed at this point. We were like, you know what, we're gonna build a small little Rain Core. We wanted to get some cheap offense. Base 60 HP, 50 attack, which you're not using. 100 defense, which isn't bad. 95 special attack, which isn't bad, especially since you're setting your own rain and you can get 100% accurate hurricanes. That 95 special attack isn't terrible. 75 speed F and 65 speed. Most often, I'm gonna be bringing this. Damp Rock or Focus Sash most of the time if I bring it. You know, gets access to U-turn, so you can, you know, switch out if you know you predict a switch, you want to see what your opponent's going to do. You can get a U-turn off, get out of there. Also gets access to Tailwind. It gets Wide Guard, which is really, really nice. Weather Ball, which I could run. You know, you can set its own rain, and then you can get a single target move that's more powerful than Scald. And yeah, I'm looking forward to trying out Pelipper. I've never used Weather before in draft, and so this will be interesting. It'll be interesting to figure out how we're gonna do this. I'm really interested. I'm really excited. Lucky if you're watching this, I might need to invite you to the front office Discord, because I might need your help with helping me with rain. I know the king of rain over here himself gonna need to help me out. So next up, we wanted to get a Swift Swim Abuser. We wanted to get a Rain Abuser, something that can be offensive in the rain. We thought about Barrascuda here, but I thought Barrascuda was a little pricey. I thought Barrascuda should have been a couple points cheaper than it was, just because it is so rain dependent of a Pokemon. Now it would have fit our team perfectly, because you know we wanted physical attacker, we wanted Swifts, we wanted Rain Abuser. We also thought about Ludicolo here, but it got taken a couple picks before us. And Ludicolo would have been 1 point cheaper than what we ended up going with, and we ended up going with Seismitoad. Seismitoad's pretty cool. Like I said, it gets Swift Swim. It also gets Water Absorb, so if I don't want the extra speed, and if I'm going to maybe against another rain team, I want to run against like a Kyogre team, I can get water. I can run Water Absorb, and then that means Kyogre's Water Spout can't hurt me, which is fantastic. Base 105 HP, 95 attack, 75 defense, 85 special attack, 75 speed def, and 74 speed. Just overall, just decent stats across the board. No stats are really, you know, fantastic. None of them really stand out, but none of them are bad, which is nice, because I can run this physical. I can run it special. Based on my team comp, I'm probably going to run it physical more often than I run it special. Another Pokemon that gets access to Knockoff, which I love. I love Knockoff in VGC. You've heard me say that 100 times by now, probably. And yeah, I like Seismitoad a lot. And it gives me an electric community, which is really, really nice as well on a rain team. You know, you're going to have Pokemon that are going to bring electric moves. So an electric community with my Swift Swim Sweeper, which is fantastic. We need that. It's a great thing to have. And so the next one we thought about, we thought hard about this one too, is a Pokemon that I've used before and I love using, and I think it's really, really good. I think it's a very underrated Pokemon in draft. Never used it in VGC. I saw teams back in Series 3 that used it every now and then because weather was so prevalent, and this Pokemon gets an ability for every weather. And that's Heliolisk. Heliolisk is here. Really good special attack stat. A solid special attack stat. Solid speed stat. Gives me a speed that, you know, just a little bit below Eternitis. Not way up there, but a little bit below it. So helps out with that speed tier, which is really nice. Strong special attack stat, like I said, 109 is fine, is solid. Gets dry skin, which means I heal in the rain, and again, I'm immune to water attacks. So, you know, again, I can have an electric type in that's immune to water attacks. That, you know, again, really good when there's two other teams that can function in rain aside from mine. And yeah, and I could potentially put this and Seismitoad next to each other. Just let them both spam Surf because Heliolisk learns Surf as well as Seismitoad, and they can just heal each other if I'm running Water Absorb on Seismitoad. So that's really nice. It gets good moves. It gets like Dark Pulse. It gets Dragon Pulse. It gets Focus Blast. Gets Stab, Hyper Voice, which is really nice. Gets Glare, so I don't have to worry about Thunder Wave missing, and I can paralyze ground types with my electric type if I really want to. So yeah, overall, I love Heliolisk. And if I'm playing against the Groudon team and I'm just like, you know what, I want something to be able to punish things in the sun, I can bring Heliolisk as solar power. So yeah, Heliolisk is a good Pokemon. Can function, like I said, in all three weathers. It also gets Sand Veil. So if I'm playing against a Sand team, I can run Sand Veil. So yeah, so that's Heliolisk. And then after that, we were like, you know what? After those two picks, I was like, oh crap, we have a lot more points to play with than I thought. And so I was like, okay, I was looking at the higher tiers for points, and we decided on a couple Pokemon that are going to be really fun. I'm really looking forward to using one of them. I'm looking forward to using again. I used it a couple seasons ago in the WPF. And the other Pokemon is a Pokemon I've been wanting to try since it was a Pokemon. So, next up, we took Volcarona. Volcarona, really cool Pokemon. Really good special attack stat, solid speed tier. The only big problem with it is it's 4 times weakness to Rock, which is unfortunately one of the most spammable types in VGC. You know, being able to spam Rock Slide free is really nice. But you know, it gives me redirection. With Rage Powder, it gives me Will-O-Wisp, Flame Body, both really good. Fiery Dance is a really cool move. Also gets Quiver Dance. Struggle Bug is a really good spread move that can lower special attack of your opponents. Overall, it's just a really solid Mon. I'm looking forward to using it in VGC. I've never used a Volcarona on any VGC team before. But it could be pretty cool. Fire and Bug is a really cool typing. And this thing's strong. I'm looking forward to trying it out. And then in a meta, you know, VGC is obviously a meta where you don't have to worry about Stealth Rocks. So you don't have to worry about that 4 times weakness to rocks. So, you know, I don't have to bring up Boots every week. So yeah, it could be really cool. I'm really looking forward to trying out Volcarona in VGC. Also, Volcarona functions pretty well in rain, even though it's a fire type, because it also gets Hurricane. So even my Volcarona, my fire type, can run not stab 100% accurate hurricanes, which if I get off a Fiery Dance or if I Quiver Dance up, you know, you're looking at that special attack stat with 100% accurate hurricanes. Even though it's not stab, it's going to be really strong. So the next Pokemon I thought, okay, I've got to get a physical wall breaker. I've got to get something that can really dish out the damage on the physical side. At this point, my strongest physical attacker is Seismitoad, and that's just not cut it for physical walls. And we were looking at what was out there, and we landed on Galarian Zapdos. Galarian Zapdos is here. The Kick Chicken himself is alive on our team. And look at that really good base attack stat. Good stats all across the board. 90, 125, 90, 85, 90, and 100. 100 base speed is solid. It's not fantastic. Wish it was a little faster. But not a lot of Pokemon want to take a Scarf or Scarf Brave Bird from this thing. Brave Bird hits like a truck coming from this thing. Defiant is a fantastic ability. Now you're gonna have to think twice if you're gonna want to Snarl to weaken my Eternitis, or my Volcarona, or the Helios. You're gonna have to think twice about clicking something like Snarl or Struggle Bug against me. Because if I bust this thing out and you get this thing a free +2, then you're gonna be taking big damage with whatever you bring in. Also, Thunderous Kick lowers defense, which is really, really nice. So I'm really excited to use this. Not a lot of Pokemon out there want to switch into dual flying and fighting stab. So it would be really, really cool to try this Pokemon out. All right. And so for the last 2 Mons, I think we had 5 points left at this point. And so for the last 2 Mons, we were thinking about a Mons that want to kind of fill a role. And I was like, you know what? I really would like to have a Mon that can Ice Shard to prop Eternatus' weakness policy. Originally, we were thinking Glalie for 1 point here. Just because, 1 point Glalie is pretty nice, but Moody is banned, obviously. But, like I said, we were thinking 1 point, also, great value. For something that will basically come in and try to do one thing, which is self-prop my weakness policy. But we found another Pokemon. We figured out what we wanted to do, and we went with Lapras. Lapras is pretty cool. Gives us another water absorb Pokemon. So Lapras, water and ice. We get the Ice Shard for priority to potentially prop a weakness policy on Eternatus, which is what we wanted. Also gets hydration, so if you want to toxic this thing or you want to try to put it to sleep, if I'm in the rain, it just automatically gets healed, which is really nice. And so yeah, we were thinking about that. And look at those stats. It's really bulky with really, really good base HP stat, solid defenses, especially on the special side. And we didn't really think we thought, it gets access to, it can Whirlpool Perish Song. So we have Perish Trap shenanigans we can try to pull off. And overall, and it gets a Life Dew, which, you can heal, you can heal, you and yourself and your partner by 25%, which isn't bad. Not bad at all. And then, for the last Pokemon, I was like, okay, what are some things we could use? We could use Fake Out. Fake Out would be really good for this team. We could use Lightning Rod. Obviously, a Lightning Rod user would be fantastic. Set it next to Lapras, set it next to Pelipper. We're going to see a lot of electric types coming against us this season. We have the Rain Core. And he didn't get sniped this time like he did in the YCL. We got Pikachu. Pikachu filled that role. Like I said, Fake Out, Nuzzle. Nuzzle is nice too. So I have 2 ways on this team to reliably paralyze opponents that don't require the RNG of either Thunder Wave or Discharge. Like we have Glare on Heliolisk and we have Nuzzle on Pikachu, which is really nice. Being able to spread para in VGC is really, really good. So obviously his stats are not great. It's a Pikachu, but if you run it with a light ball, you double his attack and special attack, which is really, really nice. So if I see a glaring electric weakness on my opponent's team, I can run light ball Pikachu, and base 90 speed isn't anything to sneeze at. I can run light ball Pikachu, and try to get Tailwind up, and Pikachu can put in some work. If your opponent doesn't prep for it, if they're not ready. So yeah, and so yeah, that's the team. I think it's a pretty good team. Originally when we were drafting it, I was like, man, I don't like this team. I was like, this team is just, I don't think it's very good. But then I looked at the other teams in the league, and look, there are a couple teams in this league that are very, very scary. Furret drafted a Sun team that is terrifying. And then the guy who picked in the 10th spot, he has a Calyrex Ice team that's really scary looking too. But overall, I think we have a pretty good shot. I think we have a pretty good team. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I think it's got a chance to be good. Obviously it's not as broken as our last team, but this team is good. Looking forward to seeing it, seeing how it works. And yeah, that's the team. We're gonna call it right there. Thank you guys very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If we have links in the Discord, I will have links down below to the other coaches in the LDL, and you should go check all of them out. This is not an upload required league. It's an upload encouraged league, but not an upload required league. But I plan on uploading, like I said, because you know YCL ended. I ended a few other series, and so this is my next series. So thank you guys very, very much for watching. Thank you to T4U for helping me draft, and we will see you guys in week 1. See you later.